What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Sharks in the Water podcast, aka the Shark Tank. Awaited return of the podcast. Of all of the things we've done on this channel, this is the only thing people have ever said, like, hey, can you please make more of these? I'm not kidding. It's not just like people we know. It's like people come up to us at events and say, oh, you're the guys who have that podcast with 150 views. Anyway, a lot has happened since the last episode, but today I'm joined by some regional toppers. Someone who topped a YCS? Leo Dominguez. What is up?
How's it going, guys? I'm Leo. Happy to be here.
And then some bozos who joined me in top cut at this Rosemont regional. Say what's up to the people.
What's up, guys?
Ricky, say what's up.
Hey, I'm Ricky. I got 5th place.
I got 7th place.
I got 4th place. Meow. Okay. It's been an eventful few months. A lot of cool happened. Blazing Dominion, is that the name of the set, has come out and changed the meta? Cool Tune, Power Patron, Lyco, a ban list. It's European national season. We're ramping up for the WCQ. Home stretch here. Lots and lots to talk about. But I figure it's fitting to get into, I suppose, the biggest event out here. Now, I will say a bunch of duelists have had some regional tops in the last couple weeks that are not able to join us today, including our dear friend and show producer or usual producer Cody Bartz, who got 12th at YCS Columbus with his arc. But I figure since we can't start it off with Cody, we might as well start it off with Leo. Leo, break down your deck decision and you know, pretty sick deck, even if it's not the most of the box thing. And let the people know what's up.
Okay, well, unfortunately, wasn't as good as Cody. I only got 18th, but I played a pretty standard list for the most part. I think the only thing that I can really mention is the one Mourner in the main. Shout out Darian. The only reason I played Mourner in the main. And then I think Droll in the main might be a throw. When I was playing the list, I was super scared of drawing anything, and I wanted nothing in my deck to be unable to be used. Now I think that's a little different. I think the Cyframes are very important in the main because not only do you need to stop the new spell decks, like not the new spell decks, but not only is it really important for you to stop spells, it's really important that the cards in your main deck do directly what you want them to do. Like under Droll, KT can still full combo you, and that's like very important to stop them in whatever way possible. Under Droll, it's very easy for Striker to win under Droll against KT. So yeah, but other than that, the only notable thing is really Cool Tune playlist. I'm a very, very big advocate of this card. Anyone who knows me knows that I was preaching about this card. It just makes it to where you can make your deck, when you're looking at 3 breakers, 3 engine, and their hand is a little too strong to set up like a real board, you can become a back row deck with reframing and playlist, and usually it's enough to get you there. The non-target bounce from Trackmaker or the targeting mix pop is like pretty important. It's also a good follow-up. And the reason I played 3 Genesis is actually to combo with the playlist. I wanted as many Cool Tune synchros as possible so I could have the leniency of searching the playlist and combo, which worked out pretty well. In the future, I would probably not play 3 Genesis, though. I did draw multiples of that card and it didn't feel great. If I would keep the same consistency ratios, except I'd probably move Pot to the side and I would probably main the 3rd mix. But other than that, I mean, I like my list, and I think it was pretty decent overall.
Yeah, that's interesting. Craig, I know you played Cool Tune as well. Do you have thoughts about differences that you might have you different conclusions you came to and changes you would make?
I think the fundamental difference in terms of the YCS experience is one, Leo kicked my ass. Two, but I faced a lot of Branded on day one of YCS Columbus, and that was a matchup I thought was going to be easier than it turned out to be. And a lot of the deck building decisions I made my deck a lot weaker into the Branded matchup specifically. And I've noticed this trend kind of over the last week or two where Branded's popularity has been skyrocketing, particularly with regard to like nationals performances. I think it's got a heavy handful of nationals wins and a ton of tops at this point.
Yeah, it was ramping up before the YCS, and Tune, which is ostensibly a pretty good matchup for Branded, became sort of the most represented deck, and you can only conclude that Branded's going to see an additional boost at that point, right? Like people were winning with it in the old ban list, and it barely got hit, and so you can only assume people are going to play it a lot more.
One thing I liked the most about Leo's list, and this was something that I took into consideration when I was deck building for Rosemont, was the particular sequencing and ways you wanted to utilize playlist and other hand traps in the deck. Like you can be very formulaic with how you're setting up a cool tune board, especially in a game one. But I think one of the perks of the deck and one of the reasons why Leo did so well was because you're looking at an opponent's hand and you've got this toolbox of a main deck with a card like Q, where if you sequence properly, you can search for the Ghost Ogre, you can search for the Ghost Bell, you can search for the Ash Blossom. There's a lot of ways to kind of layer your board pretty intently to where perfect information becomes a matter of sequencing correctly in order to win the game one or even the game two or the game three.
Out. Obviously, could we call up Craig's deck? There's something in there that I think the people are definitely going to want to see. Pretty
Sweet.
Standard. Every deck this format plays 3 Gravekeeper's Watcher.
Okay.
Craig, let the people know. If they're not familiar, if you don't know, now you know. What is this card all about?
All right, I guess I'll tell the anecdote. So during Columbus, somebody in one of the group chats sends a picture from Twitter of, hey, we found the hidden tech for Branded and High Spirits. And because, Gamers World Old Orchard has 220 Branded players, I decided to laugh at the joke and then, make a quick order of 3 Gravekeeper's Watcher. And so the night before the regional, I'm thinking about the amount of Branded that I played at YCS Columbus. And I go back and I look at this Twitter joke and I message, the Branded god, Sam Jang, and I go, hey, if you and I play, it's on site with a picture of these 3 Gravekeeper's Watchers, with no intention of putting it in my deck list. And so I make the joke and I go and I read the card again. And then I read it a third time. And I go, there's got to be something else this card hits. And so I go onto the Yugopedia and I look up not Branded in High Spirits, Gravekeeper's Watcher. And I go, what else is this card hit? It hits Branded in High Spirits. It hits Branded Opening. It's Radiant Typhoon Visions. It hits that Clown Crew card that draws 2 and discards 1. It hits Gold Leo. It hits Lunalight Masquerade. And of all things, it hits the higher field spell. So there's a lot more coverage to this card than I thought there was.
Barrel there at the end.
And so this card had a lot more coverage than I originally anticipated. And so I texted Michael at 9 o'clock at night. After he texts me, I'm not playing Fua, I go, cool, I'm not going to play Fua either. And I decide to throw in the 3 Gravekeeper's Watcher and see how it goes. And let me tell you, I don't top this regional without this card specifically. This card overperformed for me in a way that I was not anticipating. I took a lot of my inspiration for deck building from a combination of Leo and Corey's list from the YCS, with a couple of my own personal modifications, but I really wanted to give this Gravekeeper's hand trap a shot. And, it won me my round 5. I dropped it on a High Spirits, and the second hand trap I had made my Branded opponent pass turn and I OTK'd. And that's the story of the regional. So, really, it's got a wider amount of coverage than you would anticipate for a really niche, old, specific hand trap. But I was really impressed at the power of the cards it's in there to stop. And the one thing that I thought about when I put it in the deck list was oftentimes in Cool Tune, because I wanted to play 20 hand traps, which is why I opted not to play Called by Your Talents in the main deck. I wanted kind of like what Leo said, I wanted every card in my deck to be live. I thought if we had Gravekeeper's Watcher in the deck and we had another hand trap like Bell or Ash, you didn't have to burn a high impact 1-for-1 on the high spirits. You could throw the Watcher at high spirits, negate the high spirits, and then save your really good hand trap for their next extender. And then that might be enough to slow the turn down, because as a Cool Tune player, you don't want the branded player generating advantage or you're not going to be able to catch up. So that's how I ended up on the card. Personally, I think the jury's still out. I think it's a cool card. I'm really happy with how it performed, but I'm not going to sit here and, tell everyone that I've found the hidden tech of the format quite yet.
Yeah, the funny thing is, it's a little bit like, Christmas came early for Gravekeeper's Watcher. Well, really for Gravekeeper's Watcher investors. Who's to say? I might have a few of those. I might have more than a few of those. I don't know, But the idea is, that now it's really good against the trap in the Light and Darkness Ritual deck.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, it's good against visions, good against opening in high spirits, and then good against the trap. It's enough decks where it has them for it to be worth playing. Also, that trap is really hard to interact with otherwise. That's my sense of things. We'll see. If you thought Watcher was good now, I mean, in theory, right? So we'll see. Now, Ricky, I gotta ask: did you get Gravekeeper's Watcher yesterday?
I did not. I definitely did not.
The only guy in the room with Gravekeeper Watcher.
I had people asking to read that card the entire day. At one point, I'm at table 2, and Mario. At one point, I'm at table 1 and activate Gravekeeper's Watcher, and Mario D'Amico is like diagonally across from me, and he looks over at my field, and his eyes go wide, and I'm like, "Yeah, it's in my deck list. Like, let's get a move on."
Yeah. Well, the other thing we could talk about that all day. But the other thing I wanted to ask about was the 2 loudness wars in your deck. How popular do you guys think this card will be? And do you think that it comes at the expense of Typhon? It maybe comes at the expense of Despian Lulu with Lilith, which I know you tried out, Leo. Maybe a few other Harmonia targets or second copies of other Cool Tune cards. What do you guys think of this 2 loudness war thing?
Well, I can definitely elaborate on 2 loudness war. I think that 1 loudness war usually saves you. Like, you need to make a loudness war against branded when they go end phase B2B. Like, you need a B2B summon track maker, add back mix, synchro, and a loudness war. And in that case, usually they can out the loudness war with FMB, but they don't out the B2B with their FMB. So you could actually make a loudness war later, and with the loudness war, or like by going B2B summon remix or B2B summon RS, use the RS, then B2B summon rotary, go into the second loudness war, and then start shuffling back resources like that. It extends the grind game against branded pretty well. And then obviously the one thing that it's good against, like not one thing that's good against, it has niche cases, right? But the one thing that we're really using it for is the striker matchup. That matchup is, Craig, I know you will agree with me on this. That matchup is actually abysmal.
It's horrid. It's awful.
So I mean, like, you need any edge that you can get against striker at all. For like at the regional, I played against a striker opponent. He was a great guy, but kind of came back to the Yu-Gi-Oh pretty recently. He didn't know that droplet could negate loudness war, and stop the loudness war dupe block, and I won the match because of it. So I mean, I think it's a little weak. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of try to patch its weaknesses in my deck list with Prohibition, trying to call out Droplet, and then just trying to reframing negate the crown, because if you have enough defenders, you actually can go through Armatara before getting through Loudness War. But other than that, I think it's fine. I really think it's fine. Droll plus double plus the dupe block, anti-spell plus the dupe block. Sometimes you have enough expenditures to get reframing and they can't draw crown and droplet. It's okay. Like you need any help you can get. And Striker still doesn't, if they're not playing Julian's list, which has hella good consistency and is hella good, right? They don't have many ways to keep drawing. They don't have many ways to keep going. So, you could probably stop them at the beginning, stop them from drawing, make the dupe block worthwhile. I don't know. What are your thoughts on it, Craig?
I don't know. If only you had this like random hand trap in your side deck that could hit the Typhoon Visions to keep them from drawing those cards.
No, you're right. I should have thought of that.
No. In all seriousness, Leo's right. It's a brutal matchup. Dupe block with the 2 Loudness War is probably the best thing you can do going first if all you see is the targeted stuff. And if they 6-card droplet or somehow deep draw their way into a droplet, it's hard to do anything when that deck gets rolling. In terms of the kind of steadfastness of the 2 Loudness War, it's going to be in there as long as Striker's good, I think, just because it's the easiest and most efficient way to set up something where the Striker player has to maneuver around it, as opposed to just looking at potentially a Zalen in a remix and blowing through it with 4 board breakers. There are more flex spots in this deck than I originally had thought when I was first deck building. I can't speak for Leo's card choices. I didn't miss Typhon at all at the regional when I was playing. I like Typhon in theory because if your opponent goes minimal after you hand trap once or twice, you can put up a Typhon and play like Typhon control. But matches where you're playing Typhon control always feel like you're playing from behind, and it's never really like an advantageous game state. I tried double Zalen in my list for Rosemont because I had a lot of weird scenarios in Columbus where I would enter into like a turn 3 or a turn 4, and I wanted the second Zalen because the first one got outed and I couldn't find a route to back-to-back. That wasn't necessary, to be honest with you. And that was probably a deck building error and me just not playing this deck as optimally as I could have in Columbus. Moving forward, the card that I played in Columbus and then cut for Rosemont that I think I want to go back to is actually Deep Sea Prima Donna or Shooting Riser, one of the two, because I'm hearing rumblings of people getting more interested in Contact C, and not even just Contact C, Retail C at Premier Events floats around too. I didn't see it yesterday, but I heard a lot of people were thinking about putting Contact C back into their side. And the only way you're getting a Contact C off the board is if you have a tuner that requires a non-tuner. And Prima Donna and Shooting Riser are really the only two that do it. In terms of optimization, I don't know which one. That'll require further testing, but I would sooner see that come back into the list than see the second Loudness War go out of the list.
Yeah. As far as Contact C goes, I can see it, especially if people aren't prepared. One of those things, though, where you are running a bit of a 50-50 there, as far as I can tell, against the Cool Tune matchup, because it does sort of rely on them playing some extra deck cards that they might actually just play,
Mm-hmm.
As far as Retail C goes, I don't know how you could reasonably play that card when Branded is the popular fusion deck and not Draco Tail. We'll get into that, definitely take a look at a Draco Tail list here later today, but the only really good matchup for Retail C in the format is Striker. And Striker's, less than 10% of the room.
Oh God, it's going in my side deck. Oh fuck, sorry, here I'm just kidding. Anyways,
no, it's okay. Really, Leo, don't worry about it.
I know that you're seeing my list and Craig's list, and you're like, oh my God, they didn't play Prima Donna. Oh my God, they didn't play Shooting Riser. People are playing those cards. Prima Donna's good against Branded. Shuffling back Ecclesia. Do not put Contact C in your list. That is the biggest throw ever. I'll have 3 hand traps. I'll stop you, and then I'll just make Malong. Or I'll just make the Ad Ignister. Like it's only good when I don't. It's only good when we don't. When we start exactly Q, or KTS. Other than that, you can just make the Ad Ignister, and it'll be perfectly fine. Please don't put that card in your list. It's such a die roll, so terrible. Don't do it.
This is a lot of Cool Tune talk, and I'm sure the people did. The one last thing I wanted to touch on before we move on to checking out Ricky's deck is you, Leo, tested the Despian Lulu with Lilith and Ecclesia combination when I played against Charlie at the regional. He was playing that. What are your thoughts or your takeaways? You want to keep testing it or not?
Um, I okay, so it's a good engine, right? It's a good engine when you have but everything goes right. But the problem is that everything needs to go right. You know, like they need to. You need to not have ecclesia in your hand, which I drew 7 times at the regional, and which is the only reason why I lost like one of my matches, right? I would never play that card again, simply because like you want to keep it in going second, but ecclesia as a card is terrible. So you don't even want to keep it in going second, you know? Like you don't want to keep it in going first because then it's too slow. So when do you want it? You know? When you're putting driver in post side, you're going to be playing with 2 bricks in the main and a 40 card deck. When a deck that should be playing 0 to 1 bricks, right? Like, I don't know. I'm really not sold on it. I probably would not. I'm not testing it anymore. I've written it off. But other people certainly will find success if they don't draw the brick. I think it's good when everything goes right.
It's a nice defensive option to have for Crown, which can be a really heavy one shot against mediocre Cool Soon hands. But even then, you're burning your board breaker going first to make sure that your normal summon resolves. And then hopefully you're looking at a hand that you can beat with the resources you have presented. So, in my opinion, it's like too slow going second. And it's got like one really good use case going first.
Mm-hmm.
And the card in that situation, you're saying Fallen the Virtuous helps. I guess you're saying Harmonia for the guide for Fallen the Virtuous, but I don't know why you can't just play Fallen the Virtuous and forego the Dogmatica Ecclesia.
It's the extra deck space. Yeah. It's also like FMV is just not that great of a card if you can't turbo search it. The reason why it's so good in branded is because they Albion or Dogma at FMV send Albion, do the whole bullshit. Right? I'm sorry, my bad for the thing for Vandy, but FMV is only good in the decks that can heavily search it, heavily like seek it out, or draw 3 billion cards to get it, and now they have a resource loop. Not great in our deck. We're throwing hand traps at you, and we're trying to make you not play so we can OTK you. You know?
Yeah, right. So this all checks out. This tracks. Cool Toon players in the audience, some food for thought as we get ready for this WCQ or UK Nationals, which is coming up here pretty soon. But enough of that. Ricky, can we take a look at your branded deck? Hear your thoughts on it?
So I have, everybody's branded deck is pretty unique. I was looking at lists on the drive to Rosemont, and I was just like, I couldn't figure out what I wanted to play because everybody's playing something different. So then I had to build with 43 cards with 19 starters and a Mercurier. But then I felt like I should cut that because I didn't want a conditional starter in my deck. So I cut it down to 41 with 18 starters. I just wanted to play as many starters as possible.
One thing I wanted to ask about the list, I was really curious when I saw this in your side yesterday, was how was Mistaken Arrest?
Well, I only saw it once. I drew into it off of Albion the Shrouded Dragon versus Luna Light, and it won me that game, which won me the match.
I swear to God, Albion the Shrouded Dragon be drawing crazy, man. The card is so absurd.
I mean, when I played against Craig, Albion the Shrouded Dragon drew me Branded Fusion.
These branded players have the hand of God, man. I don't know what it is. I wish any deck liked me the way that Branded Fusion likes branded players.
I gotta be honest, Ricky, this No Mercurier thing is kind of blowing my mind. That card has become a staple in my sense of how this deck is meant to work. I see the vision. You don't need Branded Sword. You don't need Golden Sword Soul. Sam, our resident branded expert, I mean, he was kind of kept saying, "Oh, my loss was I bricked. I couldn't play. They played bad. I bricked. It didn't matter." And I guess cutting a bunch of the bricks from the deck seems like it would help towards that goal of being a little more consistent.
Yeah, I tried to play as few as possible, but the ones I played were all good cards that I didn't mind opening. Unlike the Sword.
Like the Tri Brigade, like Brand of Retribution, like Serenir or something. They're all cards you can make something out of. Or, even Dogmatic Ecclesia that you can make something out of in this deck on their own.
I really want to talk about the Sanctifier in the side. How is that? What's the idea towards that?
So I'm playing Sprint in the main for 2 reasons. It requires Fallen of Albans plus a monster special summon that turn. So it helped a lot versus decks that didn't play lights or darks.
Okay.
Or if my opponent was playing like when I played at the YCS, I played against like a bunch of rogue decks that just played lights, or not lights and darks, but fire, water, wind, and I was just like, I have nothing for this. So it was for that, for one reason. The other reason was I was also playing the OG Spriggan's kit, and I wanted the way to summon it for turn 3 to get cards back from Grave or Banish.
That's kind of a classic combo, especially that the OG Spriggan's kit from Banished put back is such a nasty play. They think back in the day, it used to be like DD Crow your Branded Fusion in response to Retribution add back, something like that. But yeah, now you don't gotta. And Spriggan's kit's the way you would counter that.
Seems crazy in the Cold Tune too, yeah.
Yeah, it's nice. But Sanctifier, I would side out the Sprint in the branded matchup or Sanctifier because it's better into the mirror. Because it gives me another super poly target into the mirror, and it gives me a better grind game into the mirror. Plus, it can't be targeted or use as fusion material, so it makes it even harder for them to out it.
That
also,
feels huge.
Lightning Storm, right? Like a big difference that I was looking at with the new branded is that they don't really have a way to check Lightning Storm. So then your back row deck is heavily susceptible to Lightning Storm, and that's one of the ways that our deck beats, has any chance against branded is Lightning Storming them and then ashing Ecclesia or whatever. So I like that Albion is somewhere in your list. It would make me feel safe. So.
Yeah, I didn't want to play any. That's why I'm playing Mistaken Arrest in the side, because I didn't want to play extra cards to set into a Lightning Storm. I could just do my turn in phase Mistaken Arrest, and then they're locked until the end of my next turn. I had one game where I did my whole combo, and then I set one card. It was just F and V. My opponent Lightning Stormed the F and V because all my monsters were in defense. And I was like, sure, dude. You can have that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
A lot of lists and just people in general on some conversations I've been having aren't liking mulch armies at all. Obviously, me and some other people moved away from playing Fua entirely for the Rosemont Regional. How were Fua and Perulia for you, Ricky?
Perulia I never saw, so I never really got to try it out. But Fua was good pretty much every time I saw it. Either going first as a high spirits target or going second into like Cool Tune or Mid 2 or whatever, because it makes the board a lot more breakable for me. And the smaller a board is for branded, the easier it is to just destroy it in OTK.
That resonates for me as like a striker player as well. All these decks have good food compromises. They damn near don't make decks that don't have good food compromises anymore. But it stops you from getting absolutely super comboed. The one deck that's a bit of an exception is Artmage. Artmage can do so much under a Fua. And I guess that would be. I think that's less true about the other Power Patron decks. Leo, I need your expertise here. I'm not without Cody. I'm not 100% sure. I feel like
So the Armage deck has the best full compromise out of all of the Power Patron decks. If you could pull up Aditya's Power Patron deck, I'm not really sure what that looks like. I'm not going to lie to you, but when I was playing Cody's deck in between every single round of the YCS, I didn't. The only draw that I would ever give, and when I was thinking about it, was Monfinito, and that's maybe. Like if you guys look at Cody's feature match against the Radiant Typhoon player, he went standby main, Monfinito, like instantly, and then the person dropped Pua, and he was like, all right, and he completely comboed, and his board was unbreakable. So, well, almost got broken, but unbreakable. So, yeah. And other than that, like, yeah, looking at this list, the Doom Z list. Every Doom Z player, they have a Fool Compromise, but the Fool Compromise is Drastia Pass. So, the Fool Compromise Drastia Pass is like, you get the trap as well. And that might be good against Striker, but that's not good against anything else. So, like, oh, well, it's good against Striker and KT, I guess. But if you're playing against Branded, you're playing against, I'm not sure, any Power Patron deck as well. It's kind of not going to be that great. You have a Harmonia or an Ogre alongside it. It's pretty good. So, yeah, I think that was, like, fine.
Yeah. I'm interested in talking more about these Power Patron decks. I suppose might as well talk about mine first. We're talking about the decks from the regional. Did you? Or I'm sorry, Ricky. Did you have final thoughts about your list before we moved on?
I, a funny thing about playing Branded against other like newer Branded players is I would summon Proskinion a lot, and they would have no idea what it does. But it's really good into the mirror. I chose it over Aquarius because I felt it had more applications overall.
Yeah. I got my RS stolen by Proskinion, and then I was sold on it. So.
Yeah. I play Yu-Gi-Oh! Against one Stellan Zielinski, and that kid loves Proskinion. Proskinion might be about as old as he is, but he's been in his deck the entire time he's been able to breathe, so.
I'm going to tell you what I told Ricky after I lost game 1 yesterday, which is I've been losing to Mirror Jade longer than I've been legally able to rent a car.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, by a lot, But yeah. So, obviously well done, Ricky. Yeah, man, you're totally right. All these Branded lists look completely different from each other.
Yeah, there's no two that are the same.
Yeah, like the card quality, not the card, not that the card is that high. It's that the you might consider playing is very, very long. Anyway, I guess onto my Striker deck. This is the strategy I've been playing for months now. I made day 2 at Vegas. I made day 2 at Columbus. I topped Milwaukee. I topped Rosemont with it. I've talked about this deck a few times on the channel, so I don't have too much to add here. But although the list is really ugly, it kind of worked. It works well. And the idea here is sort of that if you play it this way with like the imperms and stuff and some of the main deck hand traps, you have a little bit more of a serious game plan against combo decks. And combo decks feel like they're picking up in pace a little bit. Not only are people playing Power Patron more, but people playing Yummy again in the German Nationals, which is insane. Like who expected this, I guess it kind of makes sense. The deck is still pretty decent outside of having to go against Cool Tune. But yeah, this is my Striker deck. If you want to know more about it, I have made a bunch of YouTube videos on the channel explaining my thoughts and stuff. It's a little different from what some other people have played, but it's what I like to play. You guys have thoughts about this deck?
I'm really curious. There's a lot of one-ofs, as you said, and there's a couple that I really want to zero in on, specifically Solemn Accusation, Illusion Gate, and the one-of Desires in your main deck. Can you elaborate a little bit?
So the Desires is the worst. I mean, I'll say that's a bit of a vibes-based call. I'm not gonna lie, this is pretty. One of my odds to open. Whenever you lose some games or you don't draw a lot of starters, you're kind of like, man. And so what I did was I took basically Ray Dye's deck from the YCS. He said he didn't like Book of Eclipse, so I took the Book of Eclipse out. I put in the second Rose, which I've always been partial to. I put in the one Forbidden Crown that I own. And I was like, well, if you only play one Desires, you can't Desires into Desires. And I needed it because when I was counting my side deck patterns for some matchups, I wanted an extra card to take out. Desires, especially when it's at 1, you can control when you use it a little bit more. It's a pretty fine card to have in the deck. As far as Accusation goes, I wanted a certain amount of going first. Given that I decided to play a Thrust target as a trap card, I didn't need as many traps, and because I had Cosmic for the Power Patron cards, which one of the only ways to beat them, I decided to play just the one Accusation. Because, in theory, Cosmic Mirror and all that as well. The difference is, I think you could probably just play more Accusations. Cosmic mostly comes in for going first. It's basically just a trap card for Power Patrons, and you can Accusation all of their Pendulum anyway. Yeah, I might just want more Accusations. I'm not sure, because obviously one of the big accusations is that you beat Duster and Lightning Storm. If I set my Droplet and I set my Fallen and I set my Cosmic and pass, and you just go Lightning Storm, play whatever Power Portal, search for Dolium, I'm gonna get cooked. But if I have Accusation, then we have a little bit more of a game. So hope that answers your question. I played the one Illusion Gate because, at least in my opinion, I've said it before, but in this deck, a one of is kind of much more than a one of. You draw so many cards that your odds of seeing an individual card goes without saying that the biggest difference on your odds to see a card is from 0 to 1. But here, I mean, it's really, really true. Between all your draws, I have a copy of the card in my. I have a lot more ways of being able, more situations where I can make use of that card rather than having 0 copies in my deck. And so that's why I'm kind of partial to one-ofs. In this particular deck, I know it's pretty stupid, and a lot of play one-ofs like that. But it works out for me, and it works out for the way I like to side with the deck. So that's what I've been rocking with.
The guy who played one-ofs got top 4, so.
True.
I've always been a Pot of Desires hater. I hate Pot of Desires. That card is terrible. That card is bad in every deck that wasn't Sword Soul. So, Julian, I commend you for being like, you know what, I don't even want to see this. I don't want to see this card in multiples ever. I maybe want to see it, and I want to see it sometimes. Put it at 1. Fuck it. I like it, man.
Yeah, I guess it's stupid. It's a little messy, but it's what's been working for me, so it's what I've been doing.
I also like how many hand traps you have, because a lot of striker lists that I'm seeing aren't playing like hand traps aside from maybe Ash to draw into it, and it becomes a part of your end board. But I like the idea that if you draw into, like, if you draw 7 billion cards, you can draw in a hand trap, so the Lightning Storm becomes less good, especially post that when people are bringing them in. So it's like I like that theory a lot.
That's a huge part of it. That, and you just need a serious game plan for combo. One of my losses at the YCS was to, all my losses were, a little out of my hands. Well, at least the mistakes I made were on the deck list, and 2 of my losses were to losing the roll to Elf Note, which is just really hard. One of them was to a super nice guy, but he was just like a pretty casual, like Elf Note Centurion player who just super comboed me and played Secret Village. And I don't know how many more matches in that tournament he won, but he beat the shit out of me. I couldn't do anything about Secret Village. So, um, to have a game plan for it, and I think trying to play all breakers is a little bit wishful thinking. The ones that are in the main deck, Ash, Imperm, they can work a little bit like breakers sometimes. They're really generic. And then Droll is the highest impact in general hand trap. But Droll's another one where, aside from the fact it's pretty good against most of the power patron decks, there's another one where it can be a little tricky. So maybe the Drolls get moved to the side. We'll see. This list has been working wonders for me, so I'm sticking with something like this for the time being. But I'm really curious to see the rest of the striker decks that come out of the European Nationals this weekend.
I really, really like Droll in the main deck. It's one of the few things I might be on an island here with, but I've always found in game ones, just you don't know what you're playing into. And so, especially for Cool Tune per se, the striker matchup is so difficult already, keeping it level and just minimizing the ceiling of what your opponent can do, even in a format where branded might be the best deck in the room, just feels like such an easy way to keep yourself from getting killed into the sun by some random deck you aren't prepared for.
Yeah. I don't know if I 100% agree with that, only because that branded deck can really, it can just savage you, but
I feel like with strikers specifically, the only decks that Droll really doesn't touch at all is branded and detail. I feel like striker actually, if you're a good striker player and your opponent is a good branded player, the striker player is favored. 51-49, So like in exactly striker, I feel like Droll in the main makes a lot more sense because your matchup's already great into not great, but it's like favored into branded, so you can afford playing main decking the card that beats the decks that you're actually not favored into, which is combo. And obviously,
a lot of people are going to say that's a bit of a hot take, Leo, but I think I kind of agree with you. When we play these games or in testing, we can play with takebacks and stuff. I feel like Striker has the tools to beat branded a lot of the time. The deck it really does not have the tools to beat is the Draco Tail branded deck that's been popping up. That was one of its worst matchups before the ban list. Remains one of its worst matchups. And I think it's a natural segue. Ricky, could you call that deck up? Probably either the deck that Jesse won the YCS, or is this the Texas Regional?
This is Houston.
Yeah, it looks like. Yeah. This is sort of a best of both worlds situation. Has a lot of the strengths of the previous version of Draco with the current version of branded. Obviously there are some flaws with this deck, but man, it can push through a lot and it can end on a ton. You guys, Leo, you're the one who grinds the most ladder. Have you found an uptick in the popularity of this deck? What do you guys think?
Yeah, it's becoming a little more popular. Definitely not more popular than branded, at least on the DB ladder. I think that a really hot take, and I'm sorry for any player that's playing this. This deck's garbage. It's not that. I just really don't think it's better than branded because where branded has such a great time into targeting effects like Valor and Imperm. This deck struggles. This deck is like look how many normal summons you have. You got Quem, you got Lucius, you got Luber. Now you're playing with the red Draco Tail Pan Fallen. You got the 2 trap bricks. Like it's Brick City, and the people that are playing the deck, like if you cut off one engine, like if you cut off the branded engine, the Draco Tail engine becomes a lot easier. So I don't know. I think you have to be very skilled to play this deck. You have to be very, very skilled to play this deck. So, and if you're skilled, you're in there, right? Oh no, I'm probably talking trash or talking nonsense, but that's my take.
Yeah, I mean, all the things you said make sense, right? It's like, man, it's a lot of normal summons. Man, you're adding some traps you don't need. Like, look at all the lengths he went to in his branded deck to cut some bricks. And this is a sort of deck building where it's like, we do not care, you know? Like,
Yeah.
but with that said, I mean, I think it can really do a lot off resolving a fusion summon.
I just
And
think
it's
everyone's. I don't
very
know. I
scary
think
for them.
everyone's. I think everyone's really quickly forgotten how good of a card Fimena is. Fimena is an absurd turn 0 hand trap with the right combination of cards in your hand.
But this deck is so not built to make Fimena happen that often.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I don't know. I agree.
This
I
is
agree with Leo.
not
I'm not a
like
huge
deck
fan of the deck.
Yeah.
Say it again, Julian.
What did you say, Ricky? I'm so sorry.
I said say it again.
No, it was me. I want to know your thoughts on this list.
I think the Dracotail cards are like super strong, but I feel like if I'm gonna play anything branded related, I might as well just play branded.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if any of the engines or any of the decks offer enough for me to want to switch to that version without adding more awkward hands.
I really believe
I mean,
that
at the
Jesse
bare
Klein,
minimum, this does introduce some awkward hands.
I really believe Jesse Klein played this deck and won the YCS because he is Jesse Klein and he really likes Draco. Like, you know, I was talking to him at the YCS when he, completely curb stomped me, and granted, I only drew Infirmasque effects, which is the reason why Delta is now in my main. I used to stop these spell cards, but when I was talking to him, he said, "Man, I really just like this deck." He had max rarity Draco Tail, low rarity branded, and he was like, "I'm gonna play Draco Tail no matter what. No one's gonna stop me." So that's
Is it just me or is it so goated? You can be a 100 YCS champion, world champion, been around the world, all this stuff, and you still just are a pet decker. You know, you're like, dude, I just like this shit. I want to play it.
I just want to play it. Yeah.
I can definitely see a universe where, like, Julian, you're right. It's not designed to like super capitalize off of Fimena hitting the graveyard, but man, if you draw a hand of like Albaz and a Draco Tail name along with Fimena, or just like high roll your opponent into oblivion, there's almost nothing you can do to stop the train on turn 0.
You can also still fool many of you, which is pretty scary. If you give them a couple of Fua draws, the odds on your Fimena doing something silly go up by a lot.
I think this deck's highs are really high, but its lows are really low. So, and I don't want a deck like that. I want it to like be consistent across the board. I want it to do what it does every single time, and I'm not sure if this deck can do that.
No, I agree with that.
100%.
Okay.
Guys, well, were there other ones to talk about from the past couple weekends? I felt like spent a lot of time on Cool Tune, but it's because we have the most Cool Tune expertise in the room, you know?
Do we have that
Any
pure
funny
yummy list?
Columbus
Do we have,
people want?
I
my
can
bad, sorry.
check, but I don't know if it's up yet.
Yeah, it might just not be a.
Oh, it's up.
Dotscaper, Darian, no, what?
I had a friend at Columbus.
Dotscaper is the OG yum that our boy Darian Hahn has been playing. He tried out this in like July when the cards were spoiled. Or whatever, you know, previewed. I don't know.
I had a friend at Columbus who almost made day 2 with Pure Yummy, and I never got the chance to see his list. And I was so curious what the goo was people were playing into Cool Tune with this deck. And I'm looking at this list and I still don't see it. So somebody better than me is gonna have to run it by me.
Well, Craig, I can answer that for you. The secret sauce is dodging in Cool Tune for 9 rounds. That's the secret sauce.
Yeah, right. Like, you know, my day one at Columbus was 6 KTs. If you don't have that bracket, if you have the all Doomsy bracket, I'm sure this deck is still great, right? Like, and you don't lose the roll to every Cool Tune deck. You know, that they don't get to turn 0, rip your extra that often or at all.
Watch my clip come down and send Rico and Clip. You know what I mean? No, I'm just kidding. But
I played one Cool Tune yesterday, and it was my round 1, and then the rest of my day was branded Striker and not Cool Tune. So I don't know. It's a weird time to be entering into brackets. You know, if you're X1.
I think it's no Cool Tune.
Yeah, it's interesting. My YCS went about as expected. I think, you know, they kind of came in chunks. Like on day 2, I did not play against any pure Cool Tune. I played one Elf Note Cool Tune in the last round. So 7 total in the YCS. About exactly half my rounds were Cool Tune. Was it 50% representation in Columbus? I don't think so. I think it was less than that. So this deck obviously still has some legs, something to be prepared for, or something to cope on if you want.
Yeah, I played against 0 Cool Tune. I'm actually very impressed at the amount of people that don't want to play Cool Tune. I think people are going away from it because A, it might be a little out of the price range, or B, because they just simply don't like the play style. So you'll be surprised at how many Cool Tune you play in tournament. And if you are going against the bracket that isn't, 7 Cool Tune, then you're probably going to be going against the bracket that's 6 Doom Z and 4 Striker, and in both cases, Yummy is not great into it. So I'm not really sure where it stands, but people are finding success. Then maybe they're seeing something I'm not.
I'll say, Leo, as a Striker player, the deck I really don't want to have to play against is the random guy who just is still playing Fiendsmith Yummy. Or, some Yummy combo deck.
Oh, yeah.
Not exactly sure. Or Azamini, whatever, some bullshit Wombo combo deck. And they're just like, they don't have a care in the world. They're pretending Cool Tune doesn't exist. That is the I fear when I sit down.
Yeah.
I'm kind of with you. I'm sure this deck, other than for budget, it's not even cheap. It's not even really a budget deck. Other than for I already like Yummy cards considerations, I'm not. This is the way I would go. There's decks like the Fairy Tale Magistus deck or the various Elf Note piles that can do the same thing where you like combo your opponent to the moon. But yeah, this deck is interesting. It's very interesting.
I don't know if anybody's really sat down across from that Fairy Tale Magistus deck, but my God, that was my second to last round yesterday, and that deck is horrifying.
Yeah, I'm with you. It only gets better.
Right.
Can we take a look at this one of Cupsy Way? Shout out Konami. I was gonna play 2.
Dude, thank God they put it to 1, man.
Yeah.
They were like, they couldn't remember which one was which. They said, "Fuck it, put them both to 1."
You know what's even crazier is there's this crazy hand trap that hits cards that discard cards after you search for them. I don't know if you've heard of it.
Yeah.
Is your plan to Gravekeep Watcher Cupsy Way?
I'm just saying you can. I'm not saying you should.
I suppose you can. Yes, you can. That'll be funny. Like, tag out, I guess. Damn, I lose.
I saw somebody yesterday playing Yummy, and I'm looking at the Gravekeeper's Watchers in my side deck going, let me have this one. Let me have this one time.
They might have a stroke and not, jump back into the extra deck. He might just
do the stun lock combo. That was my win con.
No, it doesn't work like Valor. I think it still negates it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it negates activation.
Yeah. Alrighty, well, that's all for me. I mean, do you guys have other stuff you wanted to talk about?
Nope, I think I'm all good here.
Good too.
Yeah.
I think I'm good.
I want to say, congratulations, guys. One thing I will say is a lot of Sharks in top cut missing some of their players.
Really Kings.
They really gonna let that slide? I don't know. Kind of crazy. Anyway, yeah, guys. Hopefully, this satiated the desire for more Sharks in the Water podcast, aka Shark Podcast, aka Shanghai Sharks podcast, aka Greenview Yugioh Club channel podcast. Hopefully, we also can make a few more of these. I know people like them. But yeah, thank you guys so much for coming on. And we will see you next time.
See you guys.
See ya.
Better.